In current day video games, there is quite a popular genre known as the roguelike. In it, it's a basic cycle of playing the game over and over and over again with the constantly changing cycle. Maybe new boons if you play Hades, or a different character, or randomized weapons like in Vampire Survivor. Randomness, but pretty much the same. Or, as we call it in fiction anyway, Groundhog Day plots, making reference to the Bill Murray classic of the same name, based around the holiday that just so happens to be my birthday. In the movie, a weatherman who's a jerk is forced to live the same day over and over again until he learns the life lesson of not being a jerk, and is constantly hounded by an actual groundhog. Since the release of that movie, there have been many attempts at the Groundhog Day plot. Some work, others do not. In the case of Code Lyoko, though, their shot at a Groundhog Day plot actually does something that no Groundhog Day plot has ever done before or since, at least in my exploration of fiction. That's the effect of the Groundhog Day plot affects the show for the rest of it. Yes, a great day is a key episode. It might be the most important key episode. Because just like Lesson Zero did for Friendship is Magic, it changes the core of the status quo. The thing at the end that must happen. When it happened in Lesson Zero, it was the friendship lesson, focused primarily in Season 1 on Twilight. After Lesson Zero, it became a total cast job. By the time we got to the end, it didn't matter who did it, and it didn't matter if it was pointed out directly. And there wasn't even a big monologic diatribe explaining the lesson of the day. It was completely gone by then. A great day does this similarly. How? Well, it starts with the plot of the episode itself. After now finding out that Sector 5 is where Xana keeps his stash at, the gang keeps fludging around the closet, something that Xana doesn't like. And during one of these trips that we don't get any privy to the clock or any kind of randomizer from Sector 5, they get some brand new data that they think will help. But it actually allows Xana to infiltrate the computer's internal controls. And what does he decide to do with it? He decides to take control of the very mechanic that for 28 episodes now has been the episode ender. The way that each episode ends allows for the formerly non-serial episodic structure to be used. because everything can be reset to a happy ending. Nothing continues. Status quo reset. But now that Santa has control of it, he plans to use it. The show takes an approach to this too. By when you go through the first loop, you are given the day of the week, which, if you watch it on YouTube in its current form on Code Lyoko English, the day of the week will be in the native French language. When it originally aired on Cartoon Network, however, it was in our English language of the calendar. Strange little switch there. And this Monday, unfortunately for our heroes, it's going to be different than in any other Monday because the Tuesday after it's going to get wild. Starts like any other normal day. Jeremy wakes up at 7 o'clock for breakfast. What you hear is is the is one of the songs from the soundtrack, Getaway, which, oddly enough, is the song you hear at the end credit sequence from here to the end of the show. As you see Jeremy wake up, you see Yumi head downstairs, in which Yumi's father wants an explanation. This is going to become super important next episode, but remember where he sits at here. There's also a test on photosynthesis that Odd totally butchers, and Sissy's in the way too, because she overhears the night before the loop begins a conversation between Jeremy and Aelita that, if the information from the tape is given, could blow Aelita's cover that was set up in New Order. And Sissy plans to use it the next day. During the entire first loop, it looks exactly like you would expect. Sissy tries to get something done, can't, or thanks to Auric, Odd blows his photosynthesis lesson, everything goes semi-perfect. Then it resets automatically. See, the other flow to this is that Jeremy or one of the others would have to activate the return trip. It's on a timer, as we'll find out soon enough. Second loop, well, Odd actually, seeing that he and the rest of our heroes remember everything, know exactly how it's going to play out. It's only by the time we start the third roguelike loop that the gang knows it's a Xana attack and start making a forward charge to deactivate the tower there. But before they can, they get stuck in a fourth loop. Every loop is slightly different. First loop, normal. Second loop, Odd is smarter and gets out of the lesson better. Better. Or finds a way out of the problem. Problem problem. Third reset, Odd's totally taking advantage of it by teaching the class the entire lesson, sounding like the instructor herself to her own shock. But of course, because Oric and Otter needed on Lyoko, Sissy gets ignored, which means on the third loop, Sissy is about to blow the cover right before the fourth loop starts. It's on the fourth loop that we finally find out what it was all for. Because Xana launches an attack on top of an attack. But unlike unlike everything else, this one is kinda different. Because Xana attacks Sissy directly. Thus, we get the big cardinal shift. Possession. That's right. This dude can possess people now. And believe me, that first voice line from Possessed Sissy, still, years later, now, as I watch the episode, brings me the chills. This changes the game entirely. As Oric stays behind, it's up to Odd and Yumi to help Aelita deactivate the tower and stop possessed Sissy from making Oric hamburger thanks to a pipe in the boiler room. Yep, things are gonna get a lot more aggressive and a lot more physical as the series continues. And the possession is the first piece of it. Jeremy manages to stop yet a fifth loop. And the team puts it together to deactivate the tower and win. But now they know that every time jump increases Xana's power, which turns it into a choice, not a requirement. But the same old rules besides that apply. This episode, combined with the other three, are the four most important episodes probably in Code Lyoko history. They change the status quo. They change every rule, established or otherwise, that Season 1 had. With a great day, the episodic structure that has established the show up to 29 episodes on the 30th is finally shed completely. And trust me, the Xana possessions that we will see on the rest of our journey, now only 63 episodes to go, some of them will be terrifying. Some of them, not so much. But the days of possessing rats, teddy bears, and other inanimate objects are not gone for good. But they are most certainly put on the back burner. A Great Day is an episode loaded with change and uses the Groundhog Day plot to its greatest ever, in my opinion, effect. A great day is a great episode, and a 6 out of 6. It's the first perfect score for the season so far. And trust me, there'll be plenty of those along the way. So, what is your opinion on it? Let me know in the comments below. And the next time you play a roguelike, just think you're not making the enemy stronger each loop. Unless, of course, you're playing Hades on 64 heat, in which you're freaking crazy. See you next week. And after next week with Mr. Puck, I've got something special for you.